How dare you even bring my
How
cucumbers?
dare I bring the cucumbers into this? I know. Leave the cucumbers out of it. What have they done? Deserve this treatment. But the next game has started, and you're not here.
I think I could possibly be close.
Okay.
Let me just see how we're doing here.
He's close. Yes. But anyway, I'll introduce what's going on right now. We do have Viper versus DauT game 8 now, or 7. I actually lost count. But Viper and DauT going to be facing up on Step. And DauT's reaction to Viper's Civ is a big F-U-C-K in the chat right there. Because Viper has taken Spanish, DauT has taken Goths. So this is going to be interesting. But Viper, of course, just losing to DauT's Spanish on Bedouins. And I was just speculating that Viper is probably going to take Spanish in this one. Although it's not quite as straightforward to do the fast castle thing as it is on Bedouins last map on Step. But he's still taking this anyway. So let's see how this develops. DauT, obviously, maybe maybe you could say he's not really got the Civ advantage here, but he could try and be aggressive from the early game. Yes. We're talking about coming in with some kind of drush or man-at-arms action to try and pressure Viper and prevent him from getting to that point where he can get the castle up and get the conquistadors out. Not that the castle and the conquistadors are the least of his worries, but it's certainly something that's going to be in his mind as he approaches this one.
I'm happy to inform you, my friend, that it is working for me now. Yeah. I am in the game room, Wololo Kingdom style. Big thanks to Trirem, or Trireme, if you want to call him that. I think that's a cool enough name. I love this map. This is one of my favorites. Viper is so damn good at this map. I'd have to think he's got a little bit of an advantage over DauT. Just from the escape tournaments that we watched, I think he did so well. Always have to worry about your horse accidentally running into your opponent's TC because the line of sight is so small. You can walk right on top of that TC and basically have it killed immediately.
Yeah, that is something that does happen quite often, actually. And obviously, with it being a nomad start, normally most nomad starts, you don't get anything. You don't get a scout. You don't get anything to scout with. The horse, of course, is quite a nice unit because it doesn't have an attack. It's not a threat to villagers in the early game. You can't use it to push deer. It simply is a very weak scout with a poor line of sight, as you say. At the moment, you can see Viper's scouted very well. DauT's really not scouted much at all in comparison. But at the moment, both players preparing themselves here, as I expect we will see some early... Well, I was going to say I expect some early drush, but I only see 2 villagers on wood from DauT right now.
Yeah, DauT sending a 3rd villa out to wood now. Certainly not going to have a huge wood economy. Milling the middle of the map, so that's maybe a sign that he expects to have a little bit of map control as this one goes on. Viper on his side, a little bit more of a wood eco early, but just 3 on wood for him. And yeah, we're working our way through this early game, and man, I'm just excited to have Wololo Kingdoms working. Voobly HD, oh God, can you imagine? Looks like Viper will lure in a boar as we speak. Both of these guys getting things going. So you were talking early on about the unit or about the Civ matchup. Do you mind reiterating what you were bringing up?
Sure. Basically, the problem you've got as the Goths versus the Spanish is in the early castle age. If the Spanish player gets the castle up, as the Goths, you really have no way to stop the conquistadors. Realistically, you can't build stone walls to keep them out. You don't really have many options to deal with them. And you can very easily get kited, get out microed, and we basically see a very similar story to what we saw in the last game, where DauT was the Spanish, and he was the one just harassing Viper's economy, killing villagers all over the place, and taking the game control right there.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's an interesting point. Just wanted to make sure we were on the same page as we move through. I'm actually watching the Viper scouting, which he's like just slowly scouring the entire center of the map.
Yeah, going back and forth.
Really methodical move. Viper will click to the feudal age at 9:45 with 21 vills. That's a nomad start, so it's kind of hard to say if that's a great time, but I'm sure it's quite solid. Sending 2 villagers over to gold is the Viper. And DauT will click up just 1 villager, or rather 1 villager worth of time longer. Looks like DauT went for loom and Viper did not.
Indeed, and I think that Viper here knows he's faster. That's why he didn't do the loom. and he's going for these militia into man-at-arms. That's going to be his game plan here. The 2 villagers on gold telling us that the man-at-arms are on the table, and the mining camp coming up on the stone telling us that this is probably going to be followed with some towers, trying to keep the pressure up from the early game. Now, going toe-to-toe against the Goths with man-at-arms is something that, well, you're never really going to get the value trades, because the Goths, of course, do get cheaper infantry. So this should favor DauT if DauT doesn't succumb to the tower pressure as well. And DauT, as you can see, doesn't even need to build a mining camp on his stone, because his stone is right by his town center, and he's already got a villager mining that. So we're actually going to see a fairly similar style from both players, although they will walk straight past each other in the center of the map.
Yeah, a bit of a bad moment there from DauT. He ran his initial horse under Viper's TC, so DauT is without his scout for now, or rather for the rest of the game. Those two militia coming forward from DauT, 3 villagers to go along with it. Viper with 4 militia out. Now DauT brings out a 4th as well. And we have total chaos. Men-at-arms coming for the Viper. Both players should have some stone in the bank. And this one's about to go down, but I don't like the fact that DauT doesn't have any map vision with his scout death.
Yeah, I just want to highlight Viper's horse here, using his horse to block the villager so that those men-at-arms can get in those crucial shots. She was doomed to certain death there, as DauT now turns his attention to, Viper turns his attention to DauT's yurt, tearing that down and maybe causing DauT to get housed. In fact, he will cause DauT to get housed. DauT needs to build a house now, and he's not realized. So it's going to be awkward. His villager production will stop, and he won't be able to make any more men-at-arms either. On the other side of the map, he's trying to start the towers. He has pushed Viper away from the deer. They both have men-at-arms now. But Viper is certainly ahead at this stage, I feel. He did take down a Vill. He did get some damage onto DauT's men-at-arm. And he's now taken down the houses, causing DauT to get housed quite quickly.
Yeah, it looks like the Viper took the villagers from his mill that was taking deer on the front. DauT basically went and towered that mill. So DauT's first tower is not really doing any damage to Viper's economy at the moment. Viper's 3 villagers coming forward with his men-at-arms. DauT will try to respond to this. But of course, DauT is a little bit behind. He went forward, and now he's chasing the Viper, who is going to go in behind DauT's wood line. And this tower should be within range of part of this wood line. Viper will wall that in with palisades. He will leave his men-at-arms on the outside of those walls, which is interesting, but the tower is going up.
What was DauT doing, sending his villagers out there? Viper's using his horse to block this villager again, and he's going to lose another villager now. But DauT will clean up all of these men-at-arms. He will vacate the wood line, and he will eventually kill that horse by the looks of things as well. Still, a questionable decision for DauT to send his villagers in like that. Against men-at-arms, not the wisest choice. Against militia, that's fine. But let's not ignore the fact that DauT does now have 6 men-at-arms on the map, and he is ready to counter-attack. Viper does not have a archery range or a stable or anything up, and since he's the Spanish, of course, he doesn't want to go for that archery range anyway, and now he's going to have to deal with 6 men-at-arms, so that's going to be kind of difficult for him.
Viper is chopping through a tree, so DauT's woodline was connected where Viper's tower went down. I think the Viper is chopping through that tree right now to try to get through into the back of DauT's base. So kind of a funny moment for the Viper. But I got to say, beautiful play from Viper with his horse early on, able to do a ton of great blocking. Reminded me of some beautiful blocking we saw from MBL and a Wolf Rush in the past. Viper sending more villagers over to Stone as we speak. I don't see any military for the Viper at the moment. So he's kind of at the mercy of DauT. He needs some counter towers, or some defensive towers, I should say, very soon.
Absolutely. I think DauT needs to just keep the pressure on now. And this is the kind of situation that Viper is well known for not dealing with too well, to be honest. This kind of high aggression, this high pressure. And at the moment, Viper's position isn't too great. And DauT even actually, noticing that Viper still had his villagers in here, did wall off the right side. So Viper's going to come through and put a tower on this gold. But DauT's kind of expecting some movement over there, and he will actually see that tower going up thanks to the line of sight from his house. So he should be able to react and put a counter tower up in time. And meanwhile, he's still trying to pressure Viper at the back of his base, forcing Viper to build more and more towers, which, as I said in the last game, for the Spanish player, you don't want to make too many towers if you can help it, because you only need that stone for your castle. And right now, Viper's stone mine's looking a little bit low on stone count. So, got to be careful not to overinvest into towers here.
Viper will get his tower up. DauT will get his counter tower up. But I got to say, Viper here is going to idle both a mining camp and a lumber camp until that tower gets knocked down by DauT. So that's a really nice investment from the Viper. His 3 villagers did chop through a tree the old-fashioned way, just throwing the wood away until he was able to get through. We do see the Viper coming down with a market. His resources are not quite so high, but maybe he'll balance out his eco here as a market blacksmith already. DauT's going to have to retreat from the backup Viper's base for now. You got to say that the Viper here is winning this tower war pretty nicely so far early on.
Yeah, I'd also say, though, that DauT's economy is looking much nicer. He's behind by a few vills, but I think DauT did wheelbarrow, which would explain that. But he's also quite far ahead in food at the moment. He's quite, well, he's got the amount of gold he needs to go to the Castle Age. And Viper's now doing wheelbarrow as well, which means that that villager count will close. So I think that DauT's in a good position. Viper, obviously, with the market and blacksmith, wants to click to the Castle Age, but he doesn't have the economy just yet. And with only 6 farms up, he's only just keeping villager production going without actually surplusing any food at all. So he needs to get more farms down if he wants to go to the Castle Age here. DauT, meanwhile, is buying food, and he'll be up to the Castle Age in just a few moments.
Yeah, DauT having to relocate that wood line, but he did have enough gold in the bank from his early mining of this gold pile to be able to click up. As you said, his resources, well, he's going to need just a little more gold. I shouldn't have said that quite so soon, but he can do it. He can buy that gold, or rather sell some resources. And as you said, DauT's economy looking a lot better. Looks like the Viper here might have planned a little bit unfortunately. It looks like he's kind of getting caught off guard with his resource count, having to build a lot of defensive towers now to keep himself afloat. Has the 2 extra vills, does have some good towers down, but in the end, DauT clicks Castle Viper on 250 food, 500 gold.
Yeah, this is actually looking very nice for DauT right now, as that Castle Age advantage is certainly something he's going to want to use and to push. So let's see what he does. At the moment, I want to look at his eco sort of distribution. He's only got 5 farms right now. 2 more are coming up. He's still taking a lot of stone, and I'm expecting that DauT will just drop down the castle and maybe make some Huskarls straight away here. He will need some more farms to do that. Whereas Viper, he's got a massive surplus of gold. He'll probably end up having to buy some food from the market, but he's not going to be able to afford the castle. So those conquistadors, which we were kind of speculating about and expecting earlier on, that's not going to happen for some time, because he's still building more towers, which is slowing down his, using up his saved stone, of course.
Yeah, Viper at the moment does not look like he's in top form. He sent some villagers out to mine stone north of his base. A couple of those vills took some stone and walked most of the way back to the TC. Now he will have the resource for a mining camp. But usually we see the Viper really, really on point. He looks a little bit off kilter at this point in the game. Seems to have the wrong eco build at the moment. DauT's Castle Age will be in first. Any speculation about where DauT will drop that first castle?
I would like to see him place it aggressively. I think there's some options there, but all in all, it might be better to place it defensively and play it safe, because this is an open map, and if Viper does get to the Castle Age and start the counter-attack, then obviously he's going to be in some trouble. But he is going to put it aggressively. There you go. Right on the front.
You wanted an aggressive castle, you got one. I mean, it could be a couple panels closer, but man, this is a really deadly castle. It's going to be within range of some of these farmers. Certainly can knock down the Viper's tower there on the front. Viper's actually building a stable there. I don't think he quite has good vision of DauT's castle that's coming down. No, he sees it perfectly, but he's still going to build a stable. Interesting. Just thinking every unit that comes out of that stable will be immediately under castle arrow fire. So a little bit of a bummer of a location for the Viper. He's palisaded in, but of course these palisades won't last long. Once that castle is up, DauT at the moment has not added in any buildings at home except for a monastery. So I'm thinking that it's going to be a Huskarl build, and that seems like a really great choice with so many towers up.
Yeah, he probably does still need a few more farms, but it looks like he'll stay on 1 TC for a while, and he'll make some monks as well to defend from knights. He's not expecting to see conquistadors here, but those Huskarls, they're on the way up. And I don't know, DauT needs to focus to make sure that his castle is attacking this tower, I feel. He's actually, there you go, switching it into the palisade. And Viper's building a castle as well. I'm actually wondering if did Viper buy stone?
I would think so. I didn't see him buy stone. He's got a couple
Hmm.
villagers in the north on stone, but I don't think he nearly had
All
enough
right.
stone eco to get it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
surprising to me that he's got the enough stone for the castle because he was really low before. But anyway, DauT's gonna go in, force Viper's economy to go idle, and that night, like you say, it's gonna take some big damage from the castle as soon as it comes out of the stable here. Viper's forced to play incredibly defensively, but I'm wondering if maybe he'll build some forward buildings with those villagers on the stone on the other side of the map, and maybe he'll try to do something there. But for now, it's going to be Conquistador in the end, and DauT's going to just be backing away for now with these Huskars, trying to get some good numbers together.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely what DauT's doing, getting his numbers up a little bit. Viper will take some damage on those units coming out of his stable here and there, but for the most part, his conquistadors are getting out of his base without taking any arrow fire. A couple conquistadors for the Viper already. DauT seems to be intent on going home, so although he dropped that really, really aggressive castle, DauT's first couple units are actually going to run straight back toward his economy. DauT did drop a monastery early, does have a monk out, did grab a relic, is dropping a town center in the back. So he should be somewhat able to deal with some raiding. But of course, it all depends on how those conquistadors are microed.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I really expected DauT to put that castle defensively. It's just the sensible play to make, not the risky, aggressive play. But I mean, at the moment, that castle is not really doing much for DauT over on the other side of the map. But he is able to get a conversion onto one of Viper's knights, and Viper now showing us why those conquistadors are so good, just microing them away, doing quite a lot of damage to the Huskar. Now, the Huskar has 8 pierce armor, which means that these conks do 8 damage, which is actually pretty reasonable considering they have 60 health. The Huskar's probably one of the better units to deal with these conks, but still, it's going to be difficult for them to catch up to them, and with a bit of micro, Viper will still be able to come out on top, so we'll see how that develops here. I've noticed that DauT does have a lot of villagers kind of scattered around the map on random mining camps, and with these Conquistador now roaming around, they are really easy targets if Viper finds them.
Yeah, it's such an open map. These resources are almost never sheltered in any way. And of course, the Viper is starting to get up a good number of conks. At the moment, I'm watching 7 of those roaming toward DauT's eco. DauT has a monk or 2. He's actually got 3 monks back at home. But if Viper micros well, he probably shouldn't lose very many conks to conversion. Able to knock down a couple Huskarls, Viper will continue to micro around on that side. Villager counts right now are dead even on 50. DauT does have a second TC down on the right corner of the map. And oh boy, look at Viper's newest castle, Zach.
Oh, yeah.
Dropping it right on DauT's initial TC.
He's just making a point that I can do that too, I think. And yeah, those villagers will get that castle up pretty quickly. Bear in mind, they are Spanish. They do build very, very quickly indeed. And he's protected as well because obviously DauT has no ranged units. He's running villagers across the map. Those conquistadors are chasing them down as DauT goes up to the Imperial Age here. I didn't see that one coming, especially since he's making quite a lot of Huskarls. But yeah, I don't know. This is going to be tough, let's be honest. And oh, that Imperial Age tech is coming up in the TC where the castle's being dropped. Viper could take down that town center, but I don't think he'd be able to do it fast enough.
Yeah, probably not going to be able to get it done fast enough, but that would be a really, really exciting storyline for us to follow. Keep an eye on that. DauT continuing to produce Huskarls for the moment. Imperial Age is 1/3 of the way in. Viper is making a lot more of a castle push. Viper at the moment not floating any food or gold, so he's not thinking about castle, or rather imp anytime soon. Viper's adding in rams, adding in conks, and he's ready to make a push to try to win the game. I think DauT's decision to go imp here, it feels like the right decision because he really doesn't have an ability to fight and counter these conquistadors. Viper able to put a castle up right in front of DauT's TC. That's case in point that your opponent knows that you can't stop his military. So maybe getting up to imp, beefing up these Huskarls a bit, adding in a couple more monks. Maybe DauT can bring this one back into the fray.
Yeah, they get 2 extra pierce armor when they're elite, but I don't know if DauT's going to have the eco to support much production or the upgrades. He's currently throwing down barracks, so we'll see. We'll see what he decides to go with here. But once again, the monks being less than useless when it comes to dealing with conquistadors. And players still just, oh man. It's like, I kind of get it. Like, what else are you going to do? but monks just always fail. And anyway, Viper here moving out with another 5 rams. Going to be heading straight in towards that castle there of DauT. And DauT, I think the idea is, okay, I get Imperial, I make a Trebuchet, and I try and take down Viper's castle, slow down his Conquistador production. Meanwhile, I can still keep making Huskarls. But he's not going to be able to defend this castle here, I don't think. Although, saying that, he is bringing over some more Huskarl now. That castle is going down incredibly quickly, though. And I don't think he can stop it at this rate.
Yeah, Castle seems to be really getting dwindled quickly. DauT will bring a few units over. He will kill a few of these Rams. Castle at the moment is on 1200 HP, 900 HP, 500 HP. It's actually going to be really close here.
Soon? It's down in the last tick. The Ram goes down a fraction of a second later, and that is what you called calculated casting right there. No.
I said earlier that the Viper looked off kilter, but that was the perfect amount of Rams that he needed to get the job done. Looked really calculated.
Now, DauT is going to lose his Treb. He can't protect it. And although he's got Halbs in the mix against these Conquistador, Viper's just going to run around, kite them out. And honestly, this is looking like game for DauT very soon here. He's behind by 22 villagers, 23 villagers even. And Viper will keep his castle up. DauT calling GG. He knows it's done. And there you go. Spanish dominance right there, once again, in our second game of the day.
Great game there from the Viper. I really thought he was quite a bit behind as DauT went up early to Castle Age. I thought those Huskarls were going to get into Viper's economy. But it was all calculated by the man in the yellow, the Norwegian. Seemed to have it all in order. A perfectly calculated win for the Viper. I really thought he was in a ton of trouble. I thought we were going to see him lose that game. But I am wrong once again, and we will roll in to game number 10. Is game number 10 next?
Game number 9.
Game number 9.
I believe. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. These best of 21s, man. There's so many games. You lose count so easily. Oh, goodness. So what is going to be our next game? Let's see. It's going to be Arena next. And actually, you know what?